Three Harvard students are suing you, claiming that you stole their idea for Facebook.
Well, I mean, we know that we didn't steal any ideas or code, so we're just kind of waiting until that comes out in court.
In the lawsuit, they claim that you were duplicitous. Are you worried about it?
No, I don't really spend a whole lot of my time worrying about that. I mean, we have lawyers at the company who deal with that stuff, and it's not a huge concern.
Mark Zuckerberg's entire career hasn't just been built on code, algorithms, and ad revenue. It was built on lawsuits. From a Harvard dorm room in 2004 to a California federal courtroom today, Zuckerberg and his tech giant Meta have faced every legal threat imaginable. Stolen codes, data harvesting, monopoly busts, and AI copyright thefts. Today, we are diving into every major lawsuit that shaped Mark Zuckerberg's life and the massive landmark trial happening right now that could cost him over $100 billion. It all started with a dispute over who actually created Facebook. In 2004, upperclassman Cameron Winklevoss, Tyler Winklevoss, and Divya Narendra alleged that Zuckerberg agreed to build a social network called Harvard Connection, only to intentionally delay the project, steal their code, and build Facebook instead. The lawsuit dragged until 2004 when Facebook settled for $20 million in cash and $45 million in stock options. That stock would end up being worth hundreds of millions after Facebook went public. Then came Paul Kaglia in 2010 with a lawsuit. His saga is one of the most wildest legal stories in tech history. He claimed a 2003 contract entitled him to 84% ownership of Facebook. Paul Kaglia was an entrepreneur in upstate New York. He originally filed his lawsuit against Mark Zuckerberg in a New York State court in Allegheny County. Because the suit involved huge sums of money and parties across different states, Facebook moved the case to the U.S. District Court for the Western District of New York, Buffalo. But after years of court battles, forensic experts proved Paul had forged the documents. While awaiting trial in federal court, Paul was placed under house arrest with GPS electronic ankle monitor. In March 2015, he sliced off the ankle bracelet, attached it to a motorized ceiling fan to trick federal agents into thinking he was walking around, and fled the country with his wife, 2 sons, and their dog. After 3 years on the run, Paul was tracked down by police and federal agents and arrested in August 2018 in Quito, Ecuador. His extradition to the US took a twist. Though Ecuadorian courts originally ordered him extradited back to the US, President Lenin Moreno intervened. Paul's wife had given birth to a 3rd son while living in Ecuador. Under Ecuadorian law, Paul was declared primary support for an Ecuadorian-born child, blocking his deportation. As of today, Ecuador has released him from prison in June 2019. He remains a federal fugitive wanted in the US, living in Ecuador as a free man. By 2018, the fights weren't about who owned Facebook anymore. They were about what Facebook was doing with us, our personal lives, our private messages, and our data. And then the scandal of the decade broke. Cambridge Analytica, a political consulting firm, created a simple, seemingly innocent online personality quiz on Facebook. Only about 270,000 people took it. But back then, Facebook had a massive privacy loophole. When you took the quiz, you didn't just share your data, you unknowingly handed over access to the private profile data of every single person on your friends list.
Do you think that you have an ethical obligation to notify 87 million Facebook users?
Senator, when we heard back from Cambridge Analytica that they had told us that they weren't using the data and had deleted it, we considered it a closed case. In retrospect, that was clearly a mistake. We shouldn't have taken their word for it, and we've updated our policies and how we're going to operate the company to make sure that we don't make that mistake again.
Did anybody notify the FTC?
No, Senator.
Without realizing it, those 270,000 quiz takers unlocked the door to 87 million people's personal information. Cambridge Analytica took that mountain of data, your likes, your locations, hobbies, and political leanings, and built detailed psychological profile to target voters during major political campaigns, including the 2016 US presidential election. The fallout was catastrophic. Millions of people realized Facebook was letting outside companies quietly harvest their personal lives behind their backs. The backlash was so severe that in 2019, the US Federal Trade Commission, the government agency that protects consumers, slapped Facebook with a $5 billion penalty. To put that in perspective, that was the largest fine the US government had ever handed a tech company in history. And the legal pain didn't stop there. Facebook's own investors sued Mark Zuckerberg and the board of directors personally. The shareholders basically said, you guys knew about these weak privacy controls, failed to protect our users, and your negligence cost our company $5 billion. Zuckerberg wasn't just losing the public's trust, he was losing the trust of his own investors. In late 2020, the FTC and 46 states launched a massive antitrust lawsuit against Meta. Government's argument was simple. Meta realized it couldn't out-innovate competitors like Instagram and WhatsApp, so it bought them to maintain a personal social network monopoly. The FTC wanted to force Meta to break up and sell off both apps.
Federal trial against social media giant Meta kicked off today with 4 states laying out their case that the company's platforms harm children. In their opening statements, California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey accused Meta of intentionally hooking users to harvest their data. Meta denies any wrongdoing and says it has safeguards to protect young users.
After years of legal maneuvering, a federal judge ruled in favor of Meta. The judge concluded that while Meta was dominant, the rapid rise of TikTok and YouTube Shorts meant the FTC failed to prove Meta held a monopoly today. Although the FTC filed an appeal, Zuckerberg dodged a catastrophic corporate breakup. As Meta pivoted into artificial intelligence, a new legal front opened up: AI copyright infringements, alleging the company illegally scraped copyrighted books and shadow libraries to train its llama AI models without compensating the creators. It's a legal fight that is still playing out today, redefining intellectual properties in the AI age.
A jury trial is due to begin in California very shortly that could reshape how billions of us use social media.
It's being called the largest consumer protection lawsuit in American history, bigger than cases brought against big tobacco more than 2 decades ago.
It's going to be massive if indeed this goes through, and it's going to have a huge impact on the company.
That brings us to the current ongoing lawsuit. While Meta spent 2 decades fighting over codes, money, and stock prices, a far darker crisis was unfolding in homes across the world. Kids and teenagers were literally dying. Families across the world have lost their children to suicide, severe eating disorder, self-harm, and deadly viral online challenges. Parents describe watching bright, happy kids fall into dark algorithmic spiral, where Instagram's recommendation engine relentlessly pushed content normalizing self-harm, extreme weight loss, and severe depression directly onto young screens. And now, Mark Zuckerberg is being forced to face those families in court. In Oakland, California, Meta is sitting in a federal courtroom fighting the most damning trial in tech history, brought by nearly 30 state attorney generals. The legal team representing the state summed up Meta's strategy in 4 words: hook, hold, harvest, hide. They argued that the platform is designed to addict. Features like infinite scroll, autoplay, and push notifications weren't created for convenience. They were engineered to hijack developing brains that lack adult impulse control.
Meta has designed and deployed a dangerous product with dangerous features that they knew would create excessive use and compulsive use by children. They knew their product was dangerous, and they lied to the public.
Another concern was that the apps exploit vulnerability, leveraging teens' deep social needs by using likes and filter culture to create toxic cycles of self-worth. Also, there was the argument of illegal data harvesting of young adults. Systematically tracking and collecting data on children under 13 without parental consent violates federal privacy law. The states aren't just guessing. They have Meta's own internal receipts. Whistleblowers and leaked emails revealed that Meta executives knew Instagram was driving 1 out of 5 teens to feel worse about their bodies, sparking sleep deprivation, anxiety, and depression. In one internal email, an employee joked, "IG is a drug," to which another responded, "We are basically pushers." Company researchers warned leadership that the app was hurting kids, but executives ignored the warning because keeping teenagers hooked meant keeping ad revenue sky high. State prosecutors are treating Meta like big tobacco in the 90s. Arguing that Zuckerberg hid the toxicity of his product to protect his wallet. With Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram head Adam Mosseri taking the stance, the stakes couldn't be higher. The states are demanding court-mandated controls of how these algorithms function, alongside penalties that could reach hundreds of billions or even over $1 trillion. You see, Mark Zuckerberg survived the Winklevoss twins, survived the $5 billion FTC privacy fines, and dodged an FTC breakup. But as grieving parents sit in that California courtroom, everything changes. This trial isn't just about software. It's a reckoning over the human lives lost in the pursuit of screen time. With the jury deciding the future of Instagram and Facebook's core algorithm right now, this current trial might be the toughest battle of Zuckerberg's career.
really, let me just remind you of some of the science from your own company. Instagram studied the effect of your platform on teenagers. Let me just read you some quotes from the Wall Street Journal's report on this. Company researchers found that Instagram is harmful for a sizable percentage of teenagers, most notably teenage girls.
Sorry?
Have you compensated any of the victims? These girls, have you compensated them?
I don't believe so.
Why not? Don't you think they deserve some compensation for what your platform has done? Help with counseling services, help with dealing with the issues that your services cause?
Our job is to make sure that we build tools to help keep people safe.
Are you going to compensate them?
Senator, our job and what we take seriously is making sure that we build industry-leading tools to find harmful content,
make money.
take it off the services,
To make money.
and to build tools that empower parents.
So you didn't take any action. You didn't take any action. You didn't fire anybody. You haven't compensated a single victim. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Well,
they're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures. Would you like to apologize for what you've done to these good people?
I'm sorry for everything that you all answered. It's terrible. No one's got to go through the things that your families have suffered. And this is why we invest so much and are going to continue doing industry-leading efforts to make sure that no one has to go through the types of things that your families have had to suffer.
Thank you for watching The Bar. My name is Alpha. Let me know your thoughts, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.